to another episode of Hyundai Tucson Presents Bosses Day Out. I'm Gargi Rawat, and once again we're in India's Silicon Valley, Bengaluru, the city of bosses. Now this is the show where we introduce you to a new generation of leaders in India, new age CEOs who have revolutionary ideas, who are doing their bit and making a big impact on the country and the country's future. We learn about their stories, their journey, and we hope that inspires you and me also to do our bit. Now this is the show where we learn about what goes into the making of a leader in this young India. So let's get started, and our ride for today is the Hyundai Tucson. Today we're on our way to meet Manish Chowdhary, the co-founder of Wow Skin Science. Now Wow Skin Science is a Bengaluru-based company, and they have a range of products from nutrition, healthcare, skin care, hair care, bath and body products. They make creams, serums, oils, as well as men's grooming products, and their USP is that they're natural, simple and wholesome. They're available in major cities and tier 2 cities as well. They're available online and offline. Manish has plans to make this a global brand, and we're going to talk to him about his journey so far and his plans for the future. Hi Manish, great to meet you. I'm happy to be in Bengaluru. Wow, what a beautiful view of the lake, City of Lakes. Okay, so tell me a bit about Wow. I mean, when did you begin? And you began with your brother, I believe.
Yeah, so it's my younger brother is the co-founder along with me. It's been an amazing journey. We started off in 2014. Really exciting.
Yeah, and you began Wow with just 5 products, and today you have?
We're close to 350 products.
Wow.
We have a lot of umbrella, small satellite brands which will emerge. To be very clear, want to be a dominant player in health and beauty. We have 2 segments where we want to make it large. 13 billion is beauty in this country. 3 billion is in the nutraceutical and nutrition business. So we're fighting in a $16 billion market industry.
It's a very competitive category. Isn't there a lot of awareness now about beauty, and there's so many products? Consumers have become, a lot more, they want more from their products, and very and conscious as well, isn't it?
5 years back, I think, when Amazon gave us a data, it was close to 30,000 brands online. Today
in this space?
Yes, in this space, online listed. Today we are close to 55,000 brands, right? It just shows how much you have to cut clutter. But it's an extremely exciting category. Modernizing old wisdom ingredients into categories where millennials and Gen Zs get attracted towards. Example like apple cider vinegar, the onions hair oil series. We are a product company now building brand, and brand building is extremely critical in a time where it's super competitive.
Absolutely.
Right? So
I'm looking forward to seeing your office as well. So where does most of the work happen, the production, and then of course you must be having so much research also that goes into it.
All our research happens in Baddi, in Himachal. That's the foothill of Himalayas. A lot of our story telling starts from there, like the Himalayan spring water. A lot of our research and development also happens up there. The quality of water is extremely pure. So that's the reason why we have our core manufacturing units up in north.
So all your products are taken up to this Baddi factory, and that's where it's made, or how does that work?
So we have, if you look at our bottle backside, it clearly says born in Himalayas, right?
Yes,
so you
that's
have to have some kind of promise. But we're looking at how do we have redundancy across India as well as globally, where we can manufacture our products with that same integrity on what we are trying to build, right? So, but the core is from the Himalayan story for us. Would you love to come and see how our office functions?
Yes, of course, definitely looking forward.
Let's go on.
Let's go. How you started this company and factory in Himachal, etc. Tell us a bit more about the start with your partners, your brother.
Yeah, so obviously before I started this venture, I was a failed entrepreneur.
And I think that's very interesting because and I've seen in interviews you admit that quite freely. You're like,
yes.
I failed once and it was a lesson, and then you.
And it's not assured that it was only one time. It could happen many more times. But it teaches you lessons. And
sure.
So starting with, I was a failed entrepreneur. I sat at home for a year.
Really?
Doing nothing. But I wanted to be a part of the internet revolution in this country. I was very confident that I'll make a comeback. Never lost hope. It was a tough time, let's be honest. But if I look back, I talk about it as my Medal of Honor, right? That I lost. But at the end of the day, it gave me valuable lessons. It taught me about being bolder, being more honest, not taking life for granted.
And just to know, how long did you spend on this failed?
That older business was around 8.5 years.
Okay.
Into a venture. Again, was disrupted by large format retail coming and disrupting consumer. But we were always attached to consumer at a very young age. I think the best partner I have is my brother. I think that's the best. Entrepreneurship journey is a lonely journey, right? When there's so many ups and downs. You need a partner. You need somebody to sign off those ups and downs on those days where your mind can really get rattled that we're trying so much and why are we not getting success. So you go into those patches and you need a partner. And so vice versa also for him. I think those kind of partnerships are very important in businesses, right? So
which is very interesting because in traditional businesses sometimes you see rifts between brothers also happening. So it's great that, like you're saying, it's
I think
challenge,
it all depends on the upbringing your parents give you. I think
also
we go back
to
the old days when these were taught as family values. My brother and me used to share. Our parents used to buy one cold drink. And it used to be split into 50-50 exactly on the bottle, right? So I think those are the days when you look back, is we know what is our share, we know what the visions are. We are so much attached by the hip that we have to make it work.
Wow,
right?
that's wonderful to know.
Yeah, so I'm lucky.
Yes,
I think we can.
For sure.
I hope we can set examples. Because do remember one thing: money is not everything, right?
Of course. So how did you decide on this line of work and these sort of products, to do with hair care, skin care, nutrition, etc.? We were looking for a comeback. Wanted to be in a industry which is interesting sector which has not been disrupted online. I used to do a lot of research online on what's happening on the West. Traveled a lot to the West also to understand how this sector is emerging. I really thought India was not innovating in FMCG. I thought, let's bring a whole new story. It's not going to be easy. So it was always an ego game, right? How do we give something to a consumer which they're looking for? Also look at some emerging trends which are happening globally. And India was late to adapt towards it. How do you funnelize that into building something which is new to the Indian consumer, right? So, this particular sector seems there are like a lot of products available there, and it's going into this whole traditional sort of taking from Indian roots, etc., and traditional knowledge. So, what set you apart? How did you, decide what sort of products you're going to have and how to, push them?
So, first, we as a nation is very deprived of good brands in this country. You're always looking into two principles which we follow. What can we make what our competitors don't have? and what can we communicate what our competition does not do, right? So those are the two principles which we follow, which gives us a lot of excitement on how do you beat clutter. If you see our portfolio of products and whatever we have done, we have had an edge about a good landscape of products which we have been known to create, right? So that's something which is very exciting to be in this category.
And you're talking about, consumer feedback, and being online, you get instant feedback, isn't it?
My day starts in the morning with reading reviews of consumers. I read all our social blogs. I read our automated consumer feedbacks, what come in. I think that's very important. I see a lot of positivity if you take it in the right way to improve. Do remember one thing, customers are always correct at the end of the day. We follow reviews extremely critical at our end.
That's very interesting to know. And what I've also seen is WOW has managed to have this balance of online and offline. So tell us about that, because that's very interesting. You feel you need that balance, and you can't just be online. You have to have a presence offline as well.
Yeah, so obviously digital is a place where we will build and will be one of our modes of anything we introduce new. But the eventual place is to go and fight in the 90% of the sector where commerce happens in ours, which is offline, right? 10% of consumers still buy online on our category, which is still very small. 90% is still offline. If you want to go offline, that's where building brand is very critical. And that's where most of our investment over the last 18 months has been on building offline, right? We've rapidly grown on offline. We have close to 41,000 retail stores where we service every month. It's a very encouraging place where it's been the last 6 months where we've been in modern trade. And a lot of and our products have reached out to modern trade retailers. So it's a very important balance. You look at launching online and as the product or the brand creates traction, you go to the bigger place.
We're still in the pandemic, it seems, and we're hearing about the various waves. But the last 2 years, how was that? How did you deal with it? There was a lot of online shopping as well. So tell us about that experience.
Yeah, so I wouldn't want to be selfish here, but I think the pandemic was the best thing for our business. Discoverability of consumers sitting at home, being on social, discovering products like us, gave us a lot of tailwind. That's where a lot of consumers tried us for the first time. We built a lot of loyalty consumers into our funnel. We are in a very interesting phase where the world has opened up again. Yes. There is a little bit of an internet fatigue, but very confident these should stabilize. But do remember, we are also in offline today, right? So I think we are having both the sides of the world.
Right.
But the pandemic did give digital businesses like us a boost.
And when you talk about social, tell us about that marketing, and that's something that the younger people, the younger generation is more on social media. It's just a click, and if they're on some site and they just like the product, they just click and then they go to your site.
Look at how things have changed, right? Product discoverability, reviews are critical. Things have changed a lot over the last 3-4 years. It's matured Indian consumers buying in the right channel. Gone are those days where beauty advisors in stores would make the final decision for an Indian consumer to buy, but today it's millions of influencers on social influencing consumers to buy. So it's a new interesting wave of how commerce is happening. I think we're just the start of a very, very interesting decade where I continue to believe that great brands will be built out of the internet in India.
Wow. And tell us about your products. You started with 5, now you have hundreds of products, and you go from serums to men's grooming, and of course the usual creams, lotions, shampoos, etc. So tell us about that, and you have different sort of umbrella products happening.
Yeah, so we have we are in health and beauty. We've got nutrition products also. We're there in our hair care is one of the most popular ones. We've shown clean beauty being accepted in India.
All right. So what are some of the exciting products you have lined up, or the products that are doing well in this market?
So 2023 will be very interesting. We have a lot of products which are going to be launched with data. Trying to understand a little bit more to have our winning rates of successes on innovation much better than what we used to do. You're going to see us getting into a lot of segments, categories, again keeping to the promise on what we as founders have promised: safe, natural, not going to take shortcuts there. You'll see us also doing a lot of good stuff with AI also, artificial intelligence in our sector for the first time. You'll see a lot of those kind of big bets happening there.
And what about metaverse? That's become the big catchphrase. Everybody's talking about that. The prospects there. So how do you see it?
I think it's a long way before consumers want to experience a shampoo virtually. But if you really ask me, we are in the metaverse, at least in our segment, right? We have so many filters and gamifications happening which are part of the metaverse, right? I think I'm at least in that camp that it's going to be great for brand building. For commerce, it's something where we'll have to see how it turns out because our product is very critical, sensorials, experience. So let's see how that comes. But I think for brand and brand building, I think metaverse is going to be very, very interesting to see. But do remember, we are in a semi-metaverse already. There's nothing new where it is. We have filters, we have AI again there. We've got live shopping, which is there. So it's a semi-metaverse where we're already existing over the last few years on.
All right, hold that thought. It's time for us to slip into a short break. You're watching Hyundai Tucson presents Boss's Day Out. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Hyundai Tucson presents Boss's Day Out, and we're in conversation with Manish Chowdhary, co-founder of Wow Skin Science. Right, and when you talk about the brand, you talk about penetrating the Indian market, and I do know that you have plans to go global as well. So tell us about that so far. You're already there in the United States.
2023 focus is obviously two large markets. India will continue to be our main focus area, and also look at other markets which could be tactically stronger for us, like America, North America, South America. We're there, and we want to make Middle East a little bit more stronger from where we are. But two focus areas will be India and USA.
So now, having moved from the online space to the more physical space as well, so you've had to have a lot more push in terms of salespeople and going out there. Because earlier, when you were more online, you were pushing it on social and all online platforms. But now you have to go and approach stores, etc. So tell us about that.
Yes, so we have a pretty robust, or we're building brick by brick offline. I don't think so it can happen overnight. You control your own distribution. We have a troop of beauty advisors also stationed in some critical stores, what we're expanding on. We have a pretty solid feet on ground, which we're building. It gives a lot of refreshing, new age brands like us gives a lot of refreshing moves to the retail store.
Give you a different perspective and outlook.
Yeah, but even for a retailer, it's something new for him to sell. It's something which even he would have been bored selling all these years out, right? He's getting something which is coming out of the newer commerce coming out, right? Our vision is to reach out to every Indian in this country.
Okay, so we're nearing your office now. So your partners all sit here and you all work together.
Yes, really excited to introduce you to my brother there.
shifted to? Yeah.
4-5 months.
Okay.
Still not.
Oh, hello.
Hi, that's my
Hi.
brother Karan.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, heard a lot about you. I think on the way here in the car, and he was telling you about your working relationship.
Thank you so much for coming over.
Thank you for having us. And yes, so I want to hear from your point of view, because he's been telling me that you guys have a great working relationship, and it's been a great source of support to one another. But from your point of view,
Yeah, absolutely. Manish and I have grown up together. We have done everything together, and where he is great as, I'm not so great, but where I could complement him better. I think we have an amazing working chemistry. It's really worked great. I've been very, very digitally focused on a lot of marketing part. He's been a lot focused when it has come down to the product development. we have complemented us. It's really great.
Oh, that's wonderful, because you don't always have brothers who work so well
Yeah.
together. So that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
Also, I'm seeing the new products, and you have colognes and perfumes also. So constantly developing a
Yeah.
new line, new products.
Would love
Yeah.
to walk you
Yes,
through
Sure.
some of our new and popular products. Obviously, we're well known for our apple cider vinegar shampoo, our face wash brush.
Yes.
We just launched a new range of natural perfumes. We're covering
Yes,
India's.
I can see from my state, Uttarakhand,
Yes.
you have a
So-
Doon Devdas.
So
yes.
we've got Darjeeling Dew, Tanjore Twilight, Gulmarg Mist. Our face washes are very popular. We just
This
got
is
into.
a newly launched product, so
Yes.
you're constantly innovating, finding.
We're
new
expanding
spaces to get
categories.
into.
What consumers will continue to buy from us. We got something great onto the lip series we have added with real petals into them, rose petals.
Yes,
into it.
very
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah, so we've got a whole regime of lip care which we just launched. Our very popular nutraceuticals. We just about launched peanut butter for our life sciences business.
That's my favorite.
Is it?
Yeah, absolutely the
Creamy
favorite.
sattu.
Yes. So we are again going back to India origin, sattu,
Ah.
crunchy seeds.
Alright, so a lot of new products, a lot of innovation. So tell us, Manish, what drives you to the next?
Yeah, so definitely this is our passion. We love doing this day and day. Obviously, we wake up paranoid every morning, which is very important for a founder as what's the next big thing. Just love this category. Hope we can make something impactful out of what we are building.
Alright, so a lot of great plans for the future. And finally, I love to ask all the bosses this about work-life balance and family. So how do you do that? And something you've learned over the years and the pandemic, has that had an impact?
Yeah, so obviously work life is extremely important, but also remember you're building a pretty large organization. We need to balance that. I'm very lucky to have a family which allows me to balance that equation for us.
Right, and
Right.
work with family as well.
Oh, it's
Yes.
amazing. We couldn't have had it any other way.
Alright, well, wonderful, and all the best, and wonderful to see, great plans, and some plans that you haven't been able to disclose to us, but we'll be watching this space very closely.
Thank you so much for coming down.
Alright,
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that conversation with Manish Chowdhary, co-founder of Wow Skin Science, as he spoke about his journey as well as the plans for the future. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Do tune in for the next episode of Hyundai Tucson presents Bosses Day Out. Goodbye.